Where'd the wind go?
Hey, welcome back to another edition of Ego on Break. I'm your host, Dynamite J. Andrews. Got the Mississippi Madman sitting to my left, and he is looking for the wind. So
it was blowing and it just stopped.
That's one of the perks of filming in your car.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just don't have wind, but may have gas, but you have wind.
I don't know, Chinese food.
Yeah, so watching your wrestling lately?
Yeah, a little bit of G1 and MLW and a little bit of the Evolve, whatever it was they ran on WWE Network.
Okay, cool.
So,
well, I have watched MLW, and I've watched maybe two New Japan Pro Wrestling matches. I think they were part of G1, but I'm not 100% sure. I was kind of watching them as I was doing other stuff. So I've got a little bit to talk about, but I don't know how much I'm going to add to anything. But I did watch, on the New Japan that I did watch, it was Zack Sabre Jr. versus Bad Luck Fale.
oh, I'm sorry.
I enjoyed the match.
I can't watch Bad Luck Fale.
I thought it was really cool. Like right off the bat, like Zack Sabre just was trying to go for submissions, like just to choke him out or whatever. And it made a lot of sense, so I thought it was cool. Fale came out trying to look like a Cuban general of sorts.
I did.
So
I don't get his gimmick.
I'm not real sure what he was going for, but I think that's what he was going for. But he had the fatigues and the hat on, the big cigar and stuff. So
Who won?
Zack Sabre by count out.
Yeah.
And it was really cool how they did it. Like if you're gonna do it, like this is how they do it. It was basically ended up being like a race. Like they were fighting out into the crowd, and it was like 17, and like they got up like
Skinny guy, but
yeah, the skinny guy, yeah, I ran him. So I'm like, if you're gonna do a count out, that was kind of a cool way to do it. Like once they realized they were close, like they both just took off running. So I dug it, and then I watched a Kenta match, and I don't remember who he was wrestling. Oh yes, I do. I think it was Evil. Maybe.
Oh, really?
And that
I
was
haven't
pretty
seen
good,
that one yet. I want to watch it.
It was a really, really good match. So
Was it stiff?
oh yeah, stiff ski with a capital ski on the end. So
Everyone I've seen so far, he's killing these people. I'm like, boy, you got mad in WWE.
yeah. So overall, I thought it was fun. So that's what I watched, and I watched MLW this week. So let's talk about Evolve. What did you?
All I saw was a little bit of how I was seeing here, there, and yonder at work yesterday.
Okay.
Old Ray Fury had it playing, and we was about to stop and see a little here, there, and yonder. And I mean, I really couldn't tell you anybody that was on it.
I got you.
I mean, honestly, I was kind of seeing a little bit here and there.
Well, what you did see, was it a thumbs up, thumbs in the middle, thumbs down?
What I'd see, I would actually like to watch the whole show.
Okay. So definitely a
Yeah.
potential thumbs up.
Potential.
Cool. Very cool.
I would go check it out. I was telling him, I was like, he didn't know like how Evolved, ECW, and WWE all had a connection. I said, well, Gabe, because I can't even pronounce his last name.
Spokowski is supposed
Something like
to.
that.
Yeah.
So I suppose that's the way you spell it. But he worked for Paul Heyman doing his video, and Paul Heyman's now connected to WWE. I said,
Yeah.
that's how they are connected. He said, man, I didn't know that. I said, yeah, you might want to do a little, dig into some history sometimes.
History's such a good thing. So.
Yeah, but him doing video for Paul back in the day got him a connection.
Yeah. So what'd you think about MLW this week?
I loved it. I actually loved the show.
Yeah.
Besides the Pepto Bismol part, I told you what I thought it was.
So it came on, and basically we're seeing a seance from
hers looked like Kool-Aid at least.
Like she was it was like red wine is what it was. So you see her summoning the devil, which is Bestia 666, to take out old Manser, because old Manser has been taking out members of her faction. So
I cutting promos in really awkward places.
Yeah, Conan has her phone, so he's like, you better treat me a little differently. Yeah, so I got some stuff that maybe you don't want out here. So kind of curious what's on that phone.
She's got something on him, and he's got something on her.
Right. So well, we're back to kind of even playing fields there, and overall, I give it a thumbs up for sure. Yeah. For sure. So what do you think about the first match?
Hammer Toe versus
Davey Boy.
Davey Boy. I liked it, actually.
Yep.
I really did like
Yep.
it.
Alexander Hammerstone, Davey Boy Smith Jr. You had a member of the Hart Dynasty versus a member of the Dynasty.
He messed that flag up at the end.
So,
he wore him out.
oh, yeah.
But I mean, it ended in a DQ. Davey Boy won, but I really enjoyed the match. I thought it was cool when he kicked out at 1 after he did the running power slam on him.
Yep. I really dug the at the beginning where they're cutting the promo or whatever, and Friedman says, "Speaking of air, you know what I smell? Poor people." So, yep, poor. So I thought that was kind of funny, but
Yeah.
and then we got the Wagners.
Yeah, Wagners or Wagners, however you pronounce it.
It's German.
Starts with a W.
Yeah, well, you know.
It's supposed to be German and Mexico.
Yeah.
Or something. Anyhow.
But we got Dr. Wagner Jr. and El Hijo de Wagner Jr. versus L.A. Park and El Hijo de
Wagner
Park.
the third. That would have been the easiest way. Because them poor guys trying to call that all night long. They were so confused.
Yeah, it was fun, like on commentary, just listen to them because like they didn't know who to call what and what to call who, and you get a Wagner and a Wagner and a Wagner, and Cornette's trying to educate you. And
they were trying. I had to give them credit there.
But overall, it was only 2 matches, which is kind of rare for
But they were long matches.
them. But they were long matches, and you know, look forward to seeing Manser versus Bestia, so that'd be kind of cool. You can see, you know, you've seen Bestia 666 if you're following Southern Independent Wrestling. He's been kind of a mainstay at Wildcats for a while.
Who's his father? That's what I can't think of.
Damien.
Damien.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I thought.
so pretty cool to see that. And
you think about that, dude. You saw Laparca Jr., Wagner the
Junior,
third,
and then Wagner third. Yeah.
and then you got Bestia and Damien.
Yep.
That's like, man, Mexican has a lot of family wrestling.
Yeah, for sure. So
the one guy's Rey Mysterio's not father, good God, his
nephew.
uncle and his nephew. now
uncle,
wrestle.
nephew, and nephew, and
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Mexican wrestling families out there. That's what.
right. A
You
lot
know,
of
when it comes
second,
to
third,
American-
and 4th generation.
You can only name a few Americans that are like that,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
right now I can only think of maybe.
well, you got like Randy Orton.
Well, yeah, but I mean that are lesser known.
Yeah.
But are just now getting out there.
Pillman Jr.
Pillman, British Bulldog.
Bull Buchanan's son is wrestling.
Really, I didn't know that.
I mean, there's a bunch. You just have to hunt for them,
Yeah.
you know.
Even Scott Hall's son was wrestling at one point. I don't know if he still is. Or
I
not.
think so. I think he's just like, I think he kind of downgraded in Japan. Like he's
Really?
not New Japan anymore. I think he's like Indie Japan. So
So you got to get to the top, and climbed it from the bottom
Yeah.
to get to the top.
right. But overall, the wrestling I watched this week was really good.
I'll tell you one guy I was watching. He's a junior. Well, he's not a junior, but he's the son of a wrestler's Finley's son.
Yeah.
And he's a really good wrestler.
Technically, he's Dave Finley Jr.
Is he Dave
Yeah.
Finley Jr.? Okay, I couldn't remember. But yeah, he was one I was watching in Japan, and he tore something up, and he's been out for a little while.
Yeah, I
now.
think it's something up in his knee or his ankle or something.
Something, yeah. It's
Yeah.
wrestling. Surprise.
Yeah, injuries will get you for sure.
Funny how that fate gets you injured.
So, with MLW having an influence of guys from Mexico, like any guys you like from Mexico, like that you kind of maybe not watch religiously, but you keep tabs on?
Actually, probably La Parca
Yeah.
and La Parca Jr. I mean, I really like watching those two. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of the Mexican wrestling because it is kind of confusing as far as their tags go,
Right.
because they're really not tags. It's more or less watching like a tornado style wrestling
Yeah.
match. And I'm just used to traditional wrestling, and
Right.
that's the ones I try to really keep up with. If I hear anything happening, I actually go watch it. I did see no, I didn't see the match. I just saw little highlights. It was Cody and MJF tagging in. Was it AAA or CMLL?
Yeah, AAA.
Okay, but it was like when Cody's faced this way towards the crowd, MJF's thumbs up and yay, we're the good guys. Cody turns around, he's flipping them off and cussing them out. So,
A little bit confused there.
Yeah, well, you know, he was doing what he has to do to, you know, be his friend's friend and the boss's friend.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool.
Old MJF, the ultimate butt kisser.
They faced, I know it was Taurus, the one with the bull,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody else, and I can't remember who that was.
Okay.
I don't know who won or anything, but I just thought it was cool. That you seeing he is sticking to character regardless of where he's going.
Well, that, you know, they always have to, because, you know, with, you know, like being the elite and, you know, all the kind of roads to whatever show they have coming up, and, you know, just social media in general, like, it's very easy just to see what you're doing somewhere else.
Yeah, if somebody got a picture of you smiling, you might be in trouble.
Yeah, right. So it is kind of good to stick to your character, and you can, you know, sometimes you can still be a good guy and be bad, and you can be a bad guy and be good. You know,
Sure.
It's all where you're at and how you present it. So it's not always a negative if you go somewhere and you have to be something different than what you're, you know, accustomed to, or what, you know, you think your character is. But it's always a little, it's a challenge to be able to be you, but in a different role. You know. So I think a lot of guys should, you know, should take those opportunities to try to perfect that skill, because it is a skill, you know.
I remember reading about certain people, and they would say, like, they have a show 100 miles away, but 100 miles away is a bigger promotion they work for, where they wanted to be heel in the bigger promotion, but they want to be a face in the smaller promotion. He's like, I can't do both.
Yeah.
You know, I got to choose one of the
But
other.
I mean, technically you can, you just got to figure it out. You know what I mean? Because you can always be, you know, the bad guy who's
but which one's more important you're trying to get over?
I'm just saying, like, okay, say if I'm a bad guy in ego, or if I'm a good guy in ego, and I go to, you know, to Alabama, let's just say Pro South, I can be myself, but I can maybe a heel there because I'm invading that. You know what I mean? I'm an outsider.
Sure.
So I mean, I don't necessarily have to be, oh, I love these, your fans are the greatest. Well, no, like, I come in and go, you fans are great, but you're not as good as Pro Wrestling Ego fans, and that's gonna get me boos. You know what I mean? I'm still babyface in my home promotion, but I'm gonna be heel there. So I mean, it's just a way to do it. So.
Well, speaking of Pro South, didn't you say Sterling went up there?
Yep, we
looking
saw
like Patrick.
We saw Sterling, Jim Sterling, Stardust,
Patrick.
You know, cornflake monster, whatever he is. We saw him go over and had to give him bits of congratulations because the greatest wrestler that doesn't wrestle wrestled and walked away with the YouTube championship.
Sweet.
So it's kind of their version of the old television title, but you know, instead of being the internet championship, it's the YouTube championship. And you know, I don't know if Sterling had any help from his Constellation, but I do know members of the Constellation were on hand.
O'Hagan cheat?
Yeah. And I do know that O'Hagan became their, I think it's their all-out champion. So
all out.
Yeah, two new championships making their way to the Constellation. So I do have to give credit where credit's due. And I'm just wondering if Sterling's going to put that title on the line at Ego.
I put my touch back on.
Could we see a Madman versus Sterling for the YouTube championship?
Shit, yeah, that's a belt.
Let us know in the comments if you'd like to see that match, because me for one, I may enjoy that, especially if it maybe got a little hardcore.
Kiss my butt. Oh, wait a minute, I do hardcore.
Yeah.
That's part of what's wrong with my brain.
So you think there's any barbed wire baseball bats or light tubes or anything?
You know the old feeling about that? If you bring it usually gets used on you.
Well, that's true. So I'm going to bring beach balls and pillows.
You got my ass kicked up one time.
Styrofoam cups.
Yeah.
So
Play-Doh.
yeah. So I'm not very hardcore. So yeah, overall, you know, it's cool to see him branch out.
No, I'm proud of him. I'm glad he got the belt. I really am.
I'm hoping somebody at Ego can take that title off of him, but hey, who knows?
Eye gouging and low blowing all the way.
So if there's somebody you'd like to see Sterling fight for the title, let us know that in the comments as well, because I'm curious of what the fans would like to see. If there's somebody in Ego you'd like to see him wrestle, that'd be kind of fun. So if you want to see the Madman come out of retirement, give us a thumbs up, because we like thumbs ups.
Sure.
So
for the dozens and dozens of you that watch.
And we appreciate all you dozens. So we're going to call them our Dirty Dozens.
The Dirty Dozens, there you go.
But
I heard a alarm.
Yeah, it's a fire truck or ambulance or something. So let's end it on. This will be a short episode, I guess. Let's end it with August 31st. We got Squared Circle Survival 2019 coming up, Pearl, Mississippi. It's going to be a 6-man gauntlet, and
you ain't gonna release no names.
I don't think so.
Release at least one.
I will say that.
How about 2? That way you got at least 2 possible participants.
Maybe next week. Maybe next week I'll release.
You see, I'm trying.
If you want to see, if you want to hear at least 2 revealed, let us know.
That leaves 4 that you have no idea who it is.
I like the whole idea of not knowing who's.
But the 2 you
next.
name may not even meet each other. See what I mean?
It's true. I will say that there's going to be at least a new face in it. He has appeared in one ego event in the past, but it was a smaller event we did for church, and I don't think we put that footage up, so you could very well see a new person. I'll give you a hint. So and if you guess in the comments who that person may be. If you guess, I'll reveal it if you get it right.
I got an idea, but I can't remember his name. So
it's not that guy. It's
okay.
It's not Invisible Stan. So until next time, guys.
Watch wrestling.
Watch wrestling. Later.